Attention to go baby, what's good guys? IYokuu here, and today we have another battle for you guys. So same team, Blacephalon is kind of the star that I'm trying to go with and whatnot, against Kenny, who's got a mega Beedrill team, you know, and the Xurkitree and the Hippowdon and the Shaman and the Suicune, and the Excadrill, so you know, it's all good. But yeah. So bringing forth his Blue Eyes White Dragon, he summons, there we go, into the Beedrill here. Now, a lot of people don't really start off with Mega Beedrill. I lie. It's a nice little lead, to be honest. You get Stab, U-Turn, and it's strong as shit. And you also get Adaptability, and then you get like a Mega Digivolution. And then on top of that, you can like end the combo with a Fell Stinger and then do up, A. Okay, look, I'm talking about a completely different game. But nonetheless, you can see that he goes for the U-Turn, which I'm not really worried about him going for U-Turn as I start off with Orlando because I do have the Intimidate. So there was nothing he could do. He doesn't really get a move that I was afraid of, so I go for the Stealth Rocks. You know, so now my Rocks on the field. I'm set. I'm solid. I am Gucci, right? And so Pebble Genie here is gonna, you know, switch out. Now I didn't want to go for U-Turn on my own because I didn't know if this Shaman was faster than me or not. So now I'm gonna come out here and I'm gonna go into my here Toxapex, and Toxapex here is going to eat up the Seed Flare like it's nothing. Beautiful. Toxapex, my bad. As he goes for another one, I guess he's trying to get the Spec D drop, which he does get, which sucks for me, but I'm gonna go for Toxic Spikes because my entire goal right now, especially with this kind of team, the Hippowdon, the Xurkitree, mostly the Hippowdon, Shaman, and Suicune, my goal is to get all three of them poisoned and get as much residual damage as possible on each of them. So I go here into Red Samson. Now Red Samson here again, I still don't have a Mega Ring if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to stay in and try and go for the U-Turn because I figured that I'd be able to take a Hidden Power Fire. Well, I mean, or another, not Hidden Power Fire, Earth Power. I wasn't expecting Shaman to have Hidden Power Fire. There we go. So seeing that, now I know how to play around the Shaman a little bit better. So in my head, I'm thinking maybe I can get him to think that I'm going to go into Sizzle, right? Or go into Sizzle or go for the Hidden Power Fire. But I'm actually going to go back into the Blacephalon, and then Blacephalon is going to eat up the Hidden Power Fire. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm going to try and put that into motion. So now the Blacephalon is here, going for the Fire Blast, and it does a decent chunk to the, you know, Aurora, aka the Suicune, which it's whatever, you know, it's not really a big deal. But the poison damage, I told you guys that I was going to poison it, so now it's poison. Now I'm going to switch out back into Toxapex, and the reason I do that is so Regenerator can kind of kick in. And so I'm kind of sitting at full HP, it's whatever. Destroyer comes out, and this is kind of where I start learning the type of player that he might be, or the type of plays that he wants to make. So now I can see that he's gonna go out here. I know he's gonna go for the Rapid Spin, but just in case he knows that I know he's gonna do that, I go into my Landorus to avoid the Earthquake. But he actually does go for the Rapid Spin, which is fine. That's fine. The reason it's fine is because I still have all my hazard setters, and there is nothing that he can do in this particular situation that will hurt Landorus. So I'm gonna go for Rocks again because I can again. And now Rocks are on the field, so yet again, anything that comes in, potential sashes are broken. And I really want Rocks up because of Beedrill. I want Rocks up because, like I said, residual damage against the Hippowdon, no matter how small. The Xurkitree, especially if it has a Focus Sash. Most Xurkitrees, in fact, actually have like some kind of Z thing or whatever, the Z Crystal. There we go, that's what thing's called. They usually have that, but you know, I can see that he is the type of player that attacks everything directly in front of him. Now I mean, Rapid Spin play was nice, I'm not gonna lie. And you'll see some things here like later on in the play or later on in the battle of what I mean. I'm learning, guys. I am learning how to play the game. So as he goes for Seed Flares, and I didn't get a special D drop this time, that means I can take another one without any issues. So I'm gonna go for another layer of Toxic Spikes as he goes for the Earth Power, which does a decent chunk of damage, but it still kind of sits around Seed Flare, which isn't really a big deal to me, to be honest. So now I've got both layers of spikes up. I'm back at almost full HP, and if I switch out here, I'm gonna be at full HP. So it's nice. It's very nice for me to be able to not worry about anything happening at this point. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense, you know? But whatever. Real quick. Question of the day. It's very simple. I think everyone has something. What kind of pet do you have? If you don't have a pet, say you don't have a pet. But what kind of pet do you have? That is the question of the day, guys. I just want to know. The reason I asked that is because Aqua is all up in my face right now. I think she realizes that whenever I talk to the monitor, I talk to like in front of me. She either chills and she'll like kind of lay down or go to sleep for a little bit until I'm done, or she'll just bug the mess out of me. Like right now, she really wants me to play with her in that ball, and I don't want to play. You know, granted, I gotta go cook something, and all I'm gonna do is cook mac and cheese. But there's your tidbit of my question of the day. So my answer is, of course, I have Aqua. She is a Siberian Husky mix. Finally figured out what she's mixed with, and I'm upset because that's not what I paid for. She is mixed with a Chow. I was able to tell from a vet by her tongue, which apparently only Chows have blue tongues the way she does or something like that. So she is indeed not German Shepherd, although she has, it's weird. Everyone can admit or see that she has German Shepherd qualities, but she is not mixed with the German Shepherd. So maybe she's got a portion of it. Maybe the Husky was like German Shepherd and Husky, and so I guess Aqua would be a third. Like, so now she's like super mutt. I don't know, but that's that tidbit. So it's whatever. Anyhow, back to this battle that you guys are kind of like fishing around for and whatnot. You're just here listening to me talk about Aqua. So Toxic Apex is doing the work, and as you can see, I'm the best. So I go for the Scald here on whatever's coming in, and Livewire is going to come in, take the crit, and get a burn. So I get a crit burn on Livewire, which isn't really what I wanted, but residual damage is residual damage. So I wanted poison on the Xurkitree, but it's not really a big deal to me. So I'm going to switch out and go on a Pebble Genie, expecting him to go for an electric type move, because again, I'm figuring out that he's the type of player that attacks what's in front of him. But right here, he goes for the Psychic type attack. And at first I thought, okay, Shattered Psyche. I've seen that a lot. I've seen a lot of Volcaronas have Shattered Psyche. I've seen a lot of Tapu Finis with Shattered Psyche, or even the Tapu Lele's. I've seen a lot of Pokemon carrying the Psychic Z Crystal to kill Toxapex. So that's what I thought he was going to go for. But in fact, it was Z Hypnosis, which I haven't seen since original Sun and Moon. I didn't know people still ran that, but even with his boost in speed or special attack or whatever it is no match for Pebble Genie, because Pebble Genie is EV'd in such a way that I can take any special attack as long as it's not like an Ice Beam from a Kyurem Black or something weird like that, or a Kyurem White, whatever. But those don't exist in the land of OU, so I'm okay. Now Red Samson comes out here, and it's time that I'll let Red Samson go down. Scizor has done me well. He served his purpose, and I don't have the Mega Ring, like I said, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would have been able to take more hits than what I have now. But he's going to go for the HP Fire, and here, I'm like, all right, it's better to let Scizor go down instead of predicting him to go for HP Fire and then go into Georgie, because if I went to Georgie and he actually went for the Earth Power, yet again, this would be another battle where I can't show off Georgie. So now Blacephalon is here. There are no rocks on my field. There will be no rocks today, and I am going to annihilate the hungry hippo with my massively powered Fire Blast. Okay, so destruction. So now I can see that Fire Blast will definitely take out hungry again if he decides to stay in. He does still have his Mons, you know, he's got his Suicune and all that kind of stuff, but he goes into Clover here. I guess he expected me to switch back out into Toxapex. I'm not entirely too sure. But my Fire Blast is going to annihilate Clover. And even if I didn't get the burn, Sandstorm was going to kill the Shaven. So it didn't matter to me at that point. But I'm glad I got the burn because I like burning stuff. I mean, Fire Blast burn is 10%. Can you really think of how lucky that is? Now Excadrill comes out here and I switch, even though my Beast Boost are the best. I don't have any Beast Boost because Sand was killing everything, but I switched out because what I didn't want to happen was Sand Rush Excadrill be a thing. I have yet to see him say Excadrill is breaking the mold with his ability, but I think they actually got rid of that. I don't think they show off that he's breaking the mold anymore. I think it's more so it's just you kind of know it and you don't. But you know, whatever. So I'm here now and I'm gonna go for the Earthquake, and my Earthquake is gonna do a really good chunk to this Suicune. I'm like, all right, you know, Whelp Sand plus Poison plus another Earthquake actually it ought to take out the Suicune, so I'm fine. You know, I'm fine. Maybe I can risk the Biscuit and I can take out the Suicune, and it will be gravy because then I won't have to worry about a Suicune, and there's no switch-ins for, like, you know, my Blacephalon. But then I thought Suicune's pretty fast. Maybe he's just gonna, you know, like kill me with a Scald or something like that, and I don't want to lose it just yet. But he goes for the rest. So I'm like, well, redo. I have to restart everything all over because now this thing has maximum HP, and it's not poison. And I'm like, well, you know, thankfully Toxic Apex is still here. I'm just gonna say Toxic Apex. It's such a lame name. I don't know why I left that name. I need to change that name. But anyway, Toxic Apex, I'm gonna set up my spikes. So that's one layer of spikes. And then here comes another layer of spikes. The bones, or not the bones, the rocks. I meant stealth bones. What if stealth bones were a thing? Anyway, the rocks are gonna do their thing and they barely touch him. But I was hoping that he'd go for rapid spin, and as he does, I go for the Scald predictions. And so, you know, my Scald is gonna do some really strong damage. I'm like, man, please burn, but I don't get the burn, unfortunately. I really wish I would have got that burn. So now he's gonna switch out, and he's gonna go into Hungry Hippo here. I'm like, all right, you know, that's cool. You do what you gotta do, big dog. You do what you gotta do. You know, I'm gonna switch out myself, and I'm gonna go back into Pebble Genie here. And I'm like, all right, Pebble Genie, you got this. You know, Sands up, so no one's gonna take any damage. Intimidate is gonna happen, so I'm gonna lower his attack stat. I'm gonna eat some lefties. He's gonna eat some lefties, and we're kind of sitting in this bubble of pretty right now. So it's really who's gonna do what first. So I go for the rocks, and I didn't want him to get up his own rocks, because what I didn't want to happen was I didn't want Blacephalon taking any damage that Blacephalon didn't have to take. Unfortunately, I actually think he ends up getting rocks up anyway, because this is kind of, he's sitting like at a really high health, and there's nothing I can do to him. I'm gonna go for the Hidden Power Ice just to see like the damage. I want to scout how much damage it does, and it doesn't really do anything. So now he's gonna go for the Stealth Rocks, and now his rocks are up. I'm like, well, GG Blacephalon, you can no longer come out on the battlefield because you'll die. I don't have Sizzle anymore, and I can't defog away those rocks, so I'm probably going to, like, you know, not be able to do stuff. But I go for the Earthquake here because I am faster, and surprisingly, Earthquake does more damage than the Hidden Power Ice. But I don't have to worry about this anymore because, you know, Whirl with me out. I'm like, all right, well, that works for me too, as he goes into Toxapex. And Toxapex here, I know for a fact that I can take an Earthquake. I know that 100% for a fact I can take at least one Earthquake. So I'm like, all right, you know what? Okay, here's what we're gonna do. I'll Scald him, because if he goes for the Slack Off, it's not gonna matter. Like, you know, I'm just gonna Scald him and do whatever. If he goes for the Earthquake, I can take one, which now you can see that I can take more than one. And my Scald is gonna do some significant damage to the point where Hungry cannot, he's only got two options. Slack Off and, you know, keep doing it until I get a burn, which he's risking me burning him, or he can just Earthquake again, trying to kill me. So with that being the case, he's definitely gonna Earthquake trying to kill Toxapex, and Toxapex just isn't gonna go down. You know, my girl here is a monster. So now guess what? There's no more sand. And you know what that means? Excadrill with Sand Rush no longer outspeeds me. So you know what that means, right? Do you know what this means? I mean, besides Beedrill coming in and eating up my Toxic Spikes, and I don't want that, but whatever. Anyway, now we can go out into Pebble Genie. Pebble Genie is going to get the Intimidate off, and the Intimidate is going to lower down the Beedrill's attack stat, right? So I'm cool. I'm sitting pretty. There's nothing that I'm worried about. Drill Run, not effective, because now at this point, it's the end of the battle. I've still got almost all of my mons, and he has 3. He's getting desperate. He's like, yo, I got to kill everything in front of me. I can't make predictions right now. So I'm going to U-turn knowing that I'm slower. My U-turn is gonna do a really good chunk, and now it's time for Georgie to do its thing. Here we go. Okay, so Georgie is out here now, right?
Hiya, Georgie.
And Georgie is gonna kill everything with Shadow Ball. So Shadow Ball is gonna come through. I could have done Fire Blast, but I really didn't want Fire Blast to miss.
With me, you'll float too.
So I go for the Shadow Ball right there, and now I get a Beast Boost because there's nothing stopping me from getting the kill. There's no sand, there's no burn. It's just me. It's raw meat. Aurora comes out here, aka Suicune, and I know for a fact this thing switched out, so it at least has one more turn of sleep. I'm powerful, okay? I am powerful. I have a +1 and special attack. As long as his Sleep Talk doesn't get Scald, I'm okay. And of course, everyone's Sleep Talk's always failed, and he only gets rest, and I'm like, all right, well, it's time. It's time to end lives. Shadow Ball is gonna come through, dead. Now I'm at +99, okay? So now I'm at
You'll float too.
at +99 in my beast boosting special attack. And it's a GG, fellers. It's a GG, fellers, because Excadrill is gonna come out here, and there's no sand, so you can't outspeed me. And guess what? Shadow Ball for the win, baby. For the win, you know? So there you go. Georgie's did his thing. GG.